everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today with a flip through of another of the Curiosa journal series. This is Along the Journey of a Book. If this is your first video, this is one of 10 journals in a series that I made from a 1940s and 50s law library that I got. This is one of two books that aren't this sort of taupey, or not taupey, like beige color, brown color. They're actually this deep cranberry red with this color as the sort of background. So you'll see some fun patinaed spraying that I did on this book. I just wanted to add a little color to it. So these books are a theme of basically the curiosity cabinet, okay? And so they're all unique. There are a few things that will cross over between the books in the series, but even then they're kind of different. So I can say that each book is unique. So this particular one is 6 signatures and 160 pages, lots of ephemera. It's from 1945. The book is 6.5 by 9.5 with a 2 3/4 inch spine. So you'll see on the spine here it says Ontario Weekly Notes, 1945. There are some really nice jute ribs here. These books are really well made. I have a woodcut key here from Pork Chop Show that has been attached to the top of the signature. And this is an Etsy maker, Pork Chop Show. So all of these books have sculptural collage on the front, meaning that obviously it comes out from the original book. On the cover of this one, I've used one of my giant tickets as the background. Then this little brassy frame here with this image from an old cabinet card that I had. I made a copy of it and it's been resined inside here. I've added an eyelet here to hold it on and some wiring. I just wanted to make it kind of weird, right? So it's kind of like held on extra. And then a little woodcut ticket, also from Pork Chop Show. This is an authentic ruler, a vintage ruler that, you know, someone really like scribbled on it, but I love the diamonds here. I actually collect antique and vintage rulers. I have a wall in my house covered in them. And then this is a vintage plastic baby doll head, which I did gild and colorize to kind of bring the colors. I wanted to add a bit of that teal subtly throughout the whole book. The closure is via a gold eyelet here, and this is some seam binding to close it with. So let's jump into this book. So when you open the books, they're all similar in that I've used Tim Holtz paper for the end papers. It's so beautiful. And then also I've used an authentic cabinet card as the tuck spot for each of the entry points to the book. So this one I loved it. It kind of reminds me, she looks a little to me like Gina Davis in Beetlejuice. It's just like strange, but I like her. And then the other thing you'll find is a vintage document that's inside the tuck spot. This is a 1935. That was a little staple there. Let me remove that so nobody gets stapled. Joseph P. Heffernan Oldsmobile invoice from 1934 rather. And that just folds up and tucks on in here. You can write on the back of it if you wish. They're just fun old documents, so I like to include them. So this book starts with a vintage life insurance envelope, and you'll see back here it's got this open section. So I created this fun piece of stationery, like an envelope rather, from an old medieval kind of art book, and inside we have a journal card with this depiction of a skeleton, also from the medieval art book. So that just tucks on inside here, and I do it so that the castle just peeks on through that window. This is a book page that is from an antique doll book that I used in a boiled book pot, and I've bound it here to this fun fabric that has this nice embroidery of flowers, and on all of the text I painted gray over top, so you get not only this really cool leaf printed baby doll faces, but also this nice writing space. Another theme theme through the collection that you're going to see will be these pages of Curiosity. So this is from the Alberta Siwa Cabinet of Curiosities book, and they're just incredible illustrations of all sorts of flora and fauna. This is a piece of embossed X-ray film that I added keys and clocks to from an embossing folder. And then this is like some medical history kind of from a book page from an old book. And I just think medicine is kind of a part of Curiosa, so journal tag. This is a stamp paper for like stamp collecting. This is William Marriott, The Scourge of the Phony Mediums, with some of the equipment they use to produce spirit materializations. Above, fake hands with the handles, which were invisible in the dark, and right, a complete set of equipment for a successful materialization. So this is kind of like a historical charlatan, right, of magic and folklore. So this is from a magazine called Myth and Magic, and they talk about people who, you know, were kind of like notorious for different reasons. So throughout history, there's always been great, you know, kind of like manipulators, right? So he's shown here with this, all these hands, you know, it's like a magic trick, but you can see the behind the scenes. You can see all the handles. The paper behind it is a background paper from Gold Quixote on Etsy. This is from an art book. It's just a fun postcard that I made. That tucks in there. These are some strange creatures. I forget who they're from. This is a journal card. It's got some fun vellum paper behind it. This image is from Banana Fana Design on Etsy from her Strangeness showcase. And this is another of the pages of the Cabinet of Curiosa. More of the Curiosa, this beautiful snake. A 1932 invoice from Newstead and Nichols. More Curiosa. Alchemy, A Secret Language of the Mind. That's from an old 1970s like Myth and Magic magazine. More Curiosa, and a stained page here with a crying clown. And we have an authentic invoice from 1935 from the Guelph Daily Mercury, and an 8 of Swords tarot card. And those just pop in the belly band. And then over here, as a tuck spot, there's one of my laminated pockets. This is an image from the Graphics Fairy, and there are real flowers laminated inside there. The whole thing is stitched around. And this is some more medical ephemera, Curiosa, and that is a journal card that just tucks inside of the envelope. So her little spots will be peeking out through here. Pop her down in there, and then behind it is this very surrealist journal card. It just goes back here. I forget where that's from. This is another of the stamp pages. This is from an art book, and I just made a tuck spot with it on top of the Curiosa paper. This is a special piece of ephemera that I made of this castle, and I've done all these little French knots stitching, so it's quite a lovely piece of ephemera, a big journal card. I wanted to include the special things I've had in my own Curiosa collection of ephemera. Another Cabinet of Curiosity page with shells. This is some of my painted paper from the Boiled book, and there's one of the dolls. This is the other side of that policy envelope, and we have this journal card inside. That is from Banana Fana Design on Etsy. This is another of the Cabinet of Curiosities papers. This is some coffee-dyed Grey's Anatomy paper, and this is an embossed pocket. So you'll see throughout this whole series these little pockets. I was thinking of like those library cabinets that collectors may have in their Curiosa. This one says a pocket full, and inside we have a little dial and these little bats, little journal cards. More pockets over here. So this one holds on to this butterfly. It says Little Nothing. This one says Bread and Honey, and it holds on to a couple things. So one is, this is from Tim Holtz, and then these little flower pots. little journal card. So those both poke into this pocket. Oh, and this one says coal dust, and it has this little gold Quixote journal card. These are carbonized leaves on rusty paper. This is watercolor paper. A little postcard sticker there. This is a belly band made with my bejeweled ornamental eyes. I've braided them on so that they can all move and turn. It's on a Curiosa paper. This is a journal card made with this image from Banana Fanta Designs on Etsy from the same Strangeness collection. I think it's called Strangeness Showcase 1. Then more little pockets with my hand-drawn labels, and it's a collage background. This little journal card is in here, and then this little journal card is in there. It's like a little clipboard. This is from a surrealism art book. It's just like a fun, interesting black work of like sort of creatures and things. It's just some cool Curiosa. This is from the Garden of Delights. Then more of the Curiosa pages, a little bit of collaging there. We have a dodo here, more of the carbonized leaves, and more of these little pockets. So this says fishes, blackbirds, sixpence. So in here we have a little frog. It's a journal card you can write on the back. And here, same thing with a bird. And then this little angle of a star scene, like a stargazing card. And then in here, a couple little things. So this is from a book called Curiosa, which is a photography book done by an artist and collector who has like a really cool collection of things from famous people. Everyone sends her things in her life. So this is Mary Martin's lipstick, and it's a little journal card. And then we have some witches here with some baskets in their hand. And this is some coffee-stained Grey's Anatomy paper. This pocket says eyes. And it has this little label in it, and then this little bow. Both of these are journal cards. The bow is from Shabby Dabby Doodah, from her bows. And then this is another Curiosa, Cabinet of Curiosities pages. They're like kind of like the digital or the collection that goes throughout all the books. But they're not digital, they're from a real book. So this is some catkins and leaves, birch leaves, carbonized there, and some more of the Curiosa book. This is one common thing in all of the books, that I've put this Cabinet of Curiosities in here. It has a little Plague Doctor mask and all these little curiosities, but again, they're all different inside. So in this one, this is what you see, all these little mushrooms and bottles and a pigeon and a butterfly and owl drawing and all sorts of little things. So that some of them are stickers and some of them are little cutout like mini journal cards. So you could leave them in there or you could use them throughout the book. The closure is with metal eyelets, and this is my own hand-dyed bamboo yarn, which will stay sleek and be easy to tie and untie. Some stained paper here. This is a little vellum pocket, actually made from an X-ray, a piece of an X-ray. And this is a page from Gold Quixote, her Curiosa collection, and this is a little tag of kind of a little curiosities cabinet of specimens. This says First M.E. Church, and it's a little image of a church. This is a book page from an archaeologist, oh man, I can't talk, an archaeologist, his digs of cool things that he's found. So like lots of rusty things like a shovel head and an old barrel. This opens up for a little writing space. More of that same book called Past Objects. This is some eco-printed cotton fabric that I have stitched on here to be a pocket. This is an old name file plastic, and this is another of the Curiosa book bits. Fragment of an SS-20 missile destroyed in the USSR in accordance with the Soviet-American Treaty on INF. So just weird stuff that this artist collects. We have a little collage of some chamomile plants. And this is from Gold Quixote, a little collaging here. This is some vellum, the graveyard with bats. It is a flip up for this fun stained paper. This is scrapbook paper with fun butterflies, and another one of my pockets here that has real trapped flowers inside, and this tag inside goes right in the pocket. And more of the cabinet of curiosities, these snakes, and carbonized catkins and leaves. This is a little image of plants, and we have some squid back here. And then this is from a children's book page. I forget the name of it, maybe The Lost Dream, but I just liked the feel of it for this book. And then this is a pocket made from my weird collection of 70s and 80s photography. So there's lots of these pictures of just like people at some random house party in like the 70s and 80s. So what I decided I could do with these, because there isn't much really, is to collage on them. So I added some specimen bottles, and I added this owl painting, a stack of books. You still see the folks here, and it says, "At her kiss, the leaves burst open with a crack." So it kind of tells a little story for them. And then there is this journal tag inside that I made. This is the background, and this image are mine, and then this is from Miles Beyond the Moon on Etsy. Each of these books has one of these real specimen pages that I made with my own dried flowers and little oats and things. They're inside plastic coin envelope pages for like a coin collector or stamp collector could use them, I guess, and they're all stitched closed so nothing can escape. Also, they're all plants that have been long pressed, and they're native or common in North America. These are some leaves from my grapevine that I carbonized on rusted paper, and some more of the cabinet of curiosities. This is from an AP Gold 1800s ledger. It's real ledger paper. AP Gold was a law firm, and they would write all about their legal cases in these ledger books. This is a little collaged bird pocket from a field guide, and this nesting owl journal card inside. Background papers from Gold Quixote on Etsy. I've stained the back. This is from a medical book. I made this spine belly band on a Curiosa page. And this says, "There's a whole world to imagine. Castles in your backyard, pumpkins transformed into gilded carriages, fairy friends who play with you all day, monsters that crouch in dark corners at night, wishes you make on stars." And then just collages here, and it's got stars on the back. This is like a old headache cure ad on a Curiosa page. You'll see lots of little descriptions of the genus families from the Cabinet of Curiosities book. These little creatures, I forget where they're from, but I made a pocket with them. The tag inside is some lovely flowers from the paper cameo on Etsy, and one of my laminated leaves. More of the AP Gold's ledger, and more Cabinet of Curiosity papers, more grape leaves. The other side of my sample paper here, you'll see some marigold and some little Japanese maple leaf and little helicopters. Another page of Cabinet of Curiosities. This is a cork pocket with a little paper label there, and another tag of specimen jars. Some vellum graph paper. This is kind of a kintsugi style page that had some sort of scuffy tears on it. It's from that Past Objects book. When I tea dyed it, it got a little stuck here and there like that, so I just kintsugi'd it. We have some witches here and some pottery. This is a dental image from a health book, and this also is from the same health book of this woman brushing her teeth. It's on this fun waffle paper from packaging. This is a whiteboard page, and I thought it would be a fun thing to include because, you know, sometimes we want to write things down to get them out, but we don't necessarily want to have them there for eternity. So you can take a whiteboard marker and write to your heart's content, and then just wipe it away when you're done with those thoughts. This is from a medical book. It was like a weird mask. I forget what it was for, but like I made a big journal card out of it because to me medicine is a really fun part of Curiosa. And this is a really big sycamore leaf that I carbonized. And it's on rusted sketchbook paper. And then this is more of the Curiosa book and more of that whiteboard. Some waffly packaging paper. A stitched on pocket on, these are some beautiful glass pieces also found by that archaeologist. And another of the tags with irises from the paper cameo. It's an old bottle. This is a weird photo of like, these girls and this weird Easter bunny, and it wraps around, so the other side's here, this vellum graph paper. This is some stamping of tickets that I did on the side of this Curiosities page. This is an envelope, and inside we have a tag of these beautiful birds. I think they're orioles maybe, I'm not sure. Or they're warblers. They're probably warblers. And then this is just an image of this creepy girl. It's from Gold Quixote, and it's on this fun paper from, it was like a sketchbook book about sketchbooks, and so I just left the fun sketchbook notes there. And then this is some vintage graph paper. Another Cabinet of Curiosities page, and this is a little notebook that I made with the Cabinet of Curiosities and then some fun inked papers, and they just go right in here. Bing Crosby's tobacco pouch, that's from the Curiosa book. More coffee stained Grey's Anatomy. And then these two pockets are made from vintage card game called Waterworks. So we have a rusty pipe and a better pipe. This is another of my little stitched flower trapped envelopes. And we have these scary folks from Gold Quixote that are peeking out inside. And another of the little Curiosa journal cards, Liberace's bedroom carpet, Palm Springs. Another of the boiled books from the doll book. This is an envelope from X-ray films from a friend of mine who gave me her X-ray films for my journaling purposes. And this is another Curiosa book page, and I added this the newspaper. And then a little fun eyelidded and torn kind of folder pocket that has some directions on it. And then this is a journal card that I made from an art doll image in an art doll book. This is an authentic old cabinet card. It's a tin type of this lovely guy. And inside we have an old Standard Bank of Canada check from 1915 for $34.80. And it's on some fun scrapbook paper. This is one of my ornamental bejeweled eye pages from my Etsy collection. This is a trade card for a salesman who worked in the memorial kind of service. So they sold these funeral cards. This one says in memoriam and has some flowers. It opens up for writing space, and it's also a tuck spot for this coral, this large tag. More of the Cabinet of Curiosities. We have an elephant bum here, and this says, "Normal is not something to aspire to, it's something to get away from." And that is a quote from Jodie Foster. The other side of this X-ray film envelope, and more of the dolls from the boiled book. I painted the text gray for a writing space. This was from an old health and lifestyle book that I got, and I made a pocket out of it. And this is an image of like some part of the human body, I think the stomach and intestines maybe. This is some coffee dyed Grey's Anatomy. Another piece of that fun folder that I made pockets out of. I added some stamps from Barbados and Zimbabwe. And this is just a little fun bird sort of field guide card of that lovely bird. And another page of shells from the Cabinet of Curiosities. Vintage graph paper. This is from that sketchbook book. And here I've added this creepy girl from Gold Quixote. And then at the end we have this envelope with this fun caged doll head in ceramic with the eyes inside. And then at the end, I kept it simple. Tim Holtz paper with my seal and signature and date. I added some thread underneath my seal for a little bit of fun. And that is the end of Along the Journey of a Book. So if you're interested in these books, they'll be going up on Etsy. Just follow me on Etsy to see when they go, or you can follow me on social media. My Instagram and YouTube will be the primary places where I'll be posting these. They're coming soon. They'll go to Patreon first, and the ones that haven't sold on Patreon will go to my Etsy. So have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.